Welcome to the sample workshop. First, let's talk about the author. While people are talking about your story, you should take notes and listen. You are learning what an audience thinks about your work. You are learning how well you've communicated what you intend to communicate.
What if they say something that's wrong?
It is likely that at least some people will interpret your writing in a way that you did not intend, but instead of trying to correct them, you should listen and take notes. There's a reason they believe what they believe, and it might be because of your writing.
Do I get any chance to talk about my own story at all?
At the end of the workshop, I'll give you a chance to ask questions, not give comments or correct people or summarize your story the way you wanted it to be heard, but ask questions. You can ask something like, how do I make it more clear that the character loves pizza now? Instead of saying, of course the character loves pizza now. Everyone loves pizza.
Okay. So I just listen and take notes.
While it's your story being workshopped, yes. Okay, to the workshoppers. The first thing the workshop group will have to do is summarize the story, and I'll ask you to do this. This doesn't have to have a lot of detail, but it should hit all the main plot points so that everyone in the room is on the same page for the story.
So then she parks the car behind the Denny's at the back of the strip mall, and then she takes the bag of cash and she drives off, she walks away into the sunset.
After someone gives a summary, anyone in the workshop group can chime in to add things to the summary that they think are important.
I think it's important that she's walking away from the Denny's, so she isn't going to spend the money on pancakes like she threatened earlier.
And from there, the workshop group can begin their discussion. Generally, it's good to open by talking about what is working well in the story. I really like how the character changes from someone who is fixated on pancakes to someone who cares about pizza as well. The first scene after the bag of money shows up really gives her dark side a chance to come out.
Yeah, when she betrays her friend, that was a great scene, I thought. I thought it could use a bit more detail, maybe draw out the tension some more, but otherwise, it was really good.
It's okay if you talk about things that can be improved at the same time that you're focusing on what worked well in the story. It's completely natural, in fact, and things that worked well for some people may not have worked well for others. That's fine too.
Yeah, I thought the scene was stupid.
This is an unhelpful comment. While it may be true that you find a scene stupid, just saying that without talking about why or without talking about how it can be improved is not going to help the author with their work. And remember, that's the whole point of this class.
Yeah, but the author is stupid.
Yet another unhelpful comment, and one that might get you kicked out for the week. Always remember that the discussion is about the story, not the author. And always remember that the author is a person with feelings who deserves your respect. Showing creative work to other people takes courage, and we should reward that courage by trying our best to be helpful. Authors should also remember that the discussion is about the story, not the person. It's easy to get defensive about your work, but if you remember that it's all about getting better, and if you remember that everything can be improved, you will have a better time and get better results out of a workshop.
So you're saying I should try to be helpful even if I think something wasn't good?
Especially if you think something wasn't good, in fact. And after the conversation about what went well winds down, I'll ask the workshop group what they think needs the most work in a story. Sometimes the conversation will turn that direction anyway, and that's fine. It's important to talk about things that need the most focus from the author.
Okay, so the scene with the first pizza needs work.
Go on.
It felt slow until right at the end. I think the dialogue felt like it dragged up until the part where their server spilled soda all over the table.
Okay, that's much better. Focusing on a specific aspect of the scene, for instance the dialogue, is going to be far more helpful to the author than just saying that an entire scene needs work.
I think that scene is important, though, because it's the first time pizza comes into the story at all.
Yeah, but Shade's guy isn't wrong. The dialogue isn't doing as much as it could, and there just isn't as much energy as there is in the scene before, until the soda hits the table. This kind of back and forth is also normal. You should expect to have different opinions about what needs work and what went well. Disagreeing is fine, but remember to respect each other and respect the author. After this part of the discussion winds down, I'll ask the author if they have any questions.
It's my turn?
Only if you have questions to ask, and it's okay if you don't.
Well, I do. Shades guy. Were there other places where you felt the dialogue dragged?
Well, there's this part right before the betrayal where I expected something more from a friend, but it's missing dialogue, not dragging dialogue.
I guess in the scene where she finally decides not to give back the money, the dialogue between her and the server isn't as powerful as it could be.
Yeah, and because it's the climax, it should be as strong as possible.
Oh, yeah. I guess I marked that too.
Any other questions?
Nope. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, then. This is the part where I remind everyone, not just the workshop group, to post their comments on the story discussion section on Blackboard. You can do it right in class if you have your laptop and comments ready, or you can do it later that day or the next day, but you should try to stay caught up. And then we'll move on to the next workshop. That's it for the sample workshop. The most important thing to remember is that the point of this class is to help each other become better writers. If you find people who give you good feedback, you might still ask them for notes decades down the line. I'm still in touch with writers I met in my very first workshop class back in 2005. Be respectful and remember that it's all about the work. Let me know if you have any questions.